It's time for the Lowell Green Show, originating live on BlastTheRadio.com. Ask your smart speaker to play Blast the Radio. Live video available on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Email Lowell at BlastTheRadio.com. The number to call or text is 613-413-2217. And now, telling it like it is, here's Lowell Green.
Thank you, John. Oh, man. Great day in the morning. Great day in the afternoon as well. Wind and solar producing 3.53% of all of our needs. This is really great, folks. If we're really, really lucky, someday we may get her up to 4%. This is what $20 billion will buy you in the province of Ontario. 3.53% of all of our needs. But the good news. The good news. What are you doing this afternoon, John?
Oh, boy. Cleaning up dog poop? Mowing the lawn?
Give me the good news here. Aren't you going to a patio someplace?
I might go to my patio.
Oh, okay.
No,
well, I'm not going to your patio.
I'm not quite ready for a patio yet. I think, but maybe the weekend, I want to do breakfast on a patio.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Eggs Benny? You like Eggs Benny?
No, over easy.
Over easy. Okay, me too. You know what? The Greens are going to a patio. At least we're going to try to find one with some vacancies right after this show. So let's get the show on the road, okay? Because I can't wait for patios.
I will lean on the fast forward button for you, sir.
You know, one of the things that I really miss are I probably shouldn't say this, but Caesars. I love well-made Caesars. Now, we have Caesar mix here, but it's not the same. I don't know what it is. I have no idea what ingredient restaurants put in Caesars, but there's nothing like a well-made restaurant Caesar, and I can't wait with the celery stalk and everything, okay? Hallelujah, joy to the world. You know what? Thank you to the amazing scientists and others who created miracle-working vaccines in record time. I don't think that we have really paid enough attention to the tremendous achievement. They created these vaccines, which are extremely effective in record time. And it's not the scientists' fault, it's not the health experts' fault or the vaccine manufacturers that Canada is now 52nd in the world as far as being fully vaccinated. It's not their fault. We know whose fault that is, but we've dealt with that before, and nobody gives a sweet flying fox fart. Everybody still thinks Trudeau's wonderful. But at any rate, we need to thank the people who made these vaccines in record time. Finally, we get enough to start to open up this province. Many other countries, as you know, are already at least partially open, some of them almost fully open, because they got vaccines much sooner. So, thank you to Pfizer. Thank you to Moderna. Yeah, even thank you to AstraZeneca. Without you, heaven only knows where we would be. A lot more of us would be 6 feet under, I'll tell you that, were it not for the vaccines. Which reminds me, one thing I have learned in these recent days, John, is do not poke fun at anti-vaxxers. What do you?
Uh-huh.
Oh, man, are they after my ass? Oh, man. There's and I think you're aware of this, there's a doctor, a fully fledged doctor, who claims that vaccines will magnetize you.
Yes.
So I thought I'd have a little bit of fun with some of the anti-vaxxers out there, because I don't understand their position. So I suggested that the reason that people were refusing to take vaccines, I posted this on Facebook, it was because they were afraid of getting stuck to their fridge. And I pointed out this doctor claimed that if you had a vaccine, it would magnetize you. And so I posted that, and the flood of complaints began. And then I said, if there's an anti-vaxxer out there, could you please make me a sandwich? Because I've had 2 shots, which makes me doubly magnetized, and I'm afraid to enter the same room as our refrigerator. So, oh man, you wouldn't believe. Some of the curses are very inventive, I must tell you. I wouldn't try to tell you all of the words that have been used to describe me. pig, coward, commie. Commie keeps coming up. Terrorist. I've been described as a terrorist several times now because I suggest maybe you should get your vaccine. This is a total lack of common sense as far as some people are concerned. But at any rate, I'm going to tell you, John, whatever you do not try to poke any kind of fun at anti-vaxxers.
Oh, too late for that. Too late. Well, you know
all
what?
Hell broke loose.
But you know what? In fairness, I don't think that this whole magnet thing is the anti-vaxxers. That's a whole other thing. That's a doctor who's claiming that the vaccine. Well, I guess the anti-vaxxers. It's another reason for them to gripe about it. But yeah, I first saw that on Trevor Noah. He was laughing at them, so I think that's fair game.
No, but I mean, the fact is that it's things like this. I mean, they have been told, and some believe that it's not really vaccines, it's a microchip because the government wants to spy on you. And all of this, and now the big thing is, it's just experimental. It's never been approved. And all this. But so all of this just helps to spread this fear and resentment of vaccines.
That's right.
So I thought, you know what? It is so stupid. It is so silly that, I mean, these people can't look around the world and see what's happening. Where do you think we would be in the world if it were not for vaccines? I mean, the pandemic would be ravaging still everywhere. There would be tens of millions more of us dead without the vaccines. Let me just, I did some research this morning, and then I'm going to get off this because, you know, I think the anti-vaxxers, in a way, I feel sorry for them. It's obviously a total lack of understanding. Vaccines are one of the great inventions of our time. I cannot think of anything that has saved more lives and improved the lifestyle of more people over the last number of generations than vaccines. I can't think of anything that saved more lives. I did some checking. So far this morning, 2.26 billion people worldwide have received at least one vaccine dose. 2.26 billion people. And here's the, here's the figure that's really interesting. The incidence of, will I get it right here, of serious problems as a direct result of vaccines worldwide is less than 1/100th of 1%. World Health Organization has found that there are more serious side effects from taking aspirin or birth control pills than there is in getting vaccinated. So why people would still be afraid to take a vaccine is beyond me. 2.26 billion people. Everybody can get this information. All you have to do is just Google vaccine data. It's easy. Just like if you want to check and see, what your $20 billion in energy money is being used for, just go to IESO.ca.
See, but Lowell, they'll tell you that, that information is what the government wants you to believe. And they found this site that tells them something else. And for whatever reason, they want to believe that site and that data. Alternative facts.
But to believe that, you've got to believe that literally millions of doctors, millions of nurses, tens of thousands of coroners, millions of health experts are all in concert lying.
They all got together and they thought this would be a fun thing.
Millions of people around the world all got together to create this great scam. And they're all hiding the truth, including your doctor, okay? Including your next door neighbor. They have all, and not only that, but all of these people who have been vaccinated, including in long-term care, and as a result are pretty safe, or certainly much safer than they were, they're all lying as well. When you get a figure saying, that the incidence of infection is way, 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 way down, that's a lie. We're being lied to. Millions of people are lying to us, and nobody except these few little doctors or people, whoever it is they found on the internet, they're the only ones telling the truth. Unbelievable. Let's move on. What's new? Well, when it comes to the Liberals, not much. New report. I don't know if you've seen it or not. You got to check this out. Just blast the bejesus out of the Liberals for the WE scandal. Remember the WE scandal? I know it's tough to keep track of all the scandals, but this report drags Trudeau and the rest of his bobblehead gang through the dredge of corruption, incompetence, and just outright stupidity. But here's the interesting point. Are the Liberals concerned? Are you joking? For them, it's just another stroll in the park. Oh, another report coming out criticizing us. Oh, dear. Well, let's move on here. People still love our leader. The longer his hair grows, the grayer his beard becomes, the more people love him. Unbelievable. Talking about the Liberals. Who else can you talk about these days, really? I see that they have welcomed with open arms a woman that, as far as I am concerned, is openly anti-Semitic. You may disagree with that, but I think there's plenty of evidence there. Jenica Atwin left the Green Party because she does not agree with the Green Party's position vis-a-vis Israel and Palestine. The Green Party has sort of a balanced approach, but not Jenica, not the new Liberal. No. As far as she is concerned, it's all Israel's fault. She was heavily criticizing Israel for defending itself against more than 4,000 Hamas rockets. That was terrible. She blasted them. She has called for a boycott against all Israeli products. She calls Israel an apartheid state. So as far as I am concerned, she is anti-Semitic. I don't know how else you describe anti-Semitism. But she's welcomed with open arms into the Liberal Party of Canada. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Anti-Semite, no problem. Come in. We've got a big tent here. Let me, John, just think for a moment. Supposing an anti-Semite openly was to join the Conservative Party. Can you imagine the howls of protest? Every commentator and radio and television and newspaper would be pointing fingers at Aaron O'Toole. There he is, the false prophet. He pretends that he's for the people. He's welcoming anti-Semite. I mean, is there any criticism of no? Oh no, it's just another day at the park for the Liberals. And you know what really bothers me, and that is that in all probability, the bulk of the Jewish population will continue to vote for the Liberals. Sometimes you just have to wonder, do we get what we deserve? Probably. Oh, man, oh, man, oh, man. Now, I want to pass along a rather disturbing incident I witnessed yesterday and actually took part to a degree as an example of poor communication and what I consider to be total disregard for people's welfare. I had to get an ultrasound test at the city's medical center that's at one center point in Nepean yesterday. Never been to that building before. It's a big, big building, very, very confusing, including, by the way, the parking lot. Anybody can figure out that parking lot. You're a hell of a lot smarter than I am. Very confusing.
Is that the old? That's the old Nepean City Hall, correct?
I'm not sure what it is. It's at one center point.
Yeah,
it's a big building, and they're just people. I mean, it's like swarms of people coming in because there's various clinics of one kind or another, doctors' offices, the whole business. So it's very confusing. So I go in, and I can hardly walk. I've got a bad foot here. So I got to go to room 106. Nobody knows where room 106 is. So finally, somebody takes 4 seconds and points me to a big long lineup and says, well, I think that lineup there is for room 106. So I get in the line. There's about 15 people in front of me. It's snaking through the main hall of the building. Now, I can hardly stand. There are no chairs. Why would there be chairs? I mean, most of the people in line are older people. Well, the guy in front of me is in crutches. He can hardly stand. He's in crutches, but there are no chairs. No attempt to provide any sort of accommodation. Nope. So but this lineup is already there when I get there. I'm in the lineup for 20 minutes. I finally have to sit down. I almost sat down on the floor, but I finally found and someone held my place for me. So I get back into the lineup, another 10 minutes. So now I'm in the lineup for at least half an hour. Other people, I don't know how much, longer than that. And finally, the door to the office we all want to get in opens. And a woman appears, and she says, "How many of you people are here for x-rays?" Everybody but me puts up their hand. "Oh, well," she said, "we won't be x-raying until 12:30. This is about 10:30. So these people have been standing in line for over half an hour, and they don't come. Nobody comes out. There's no sign saying that they're not x-raying until 12:30. After all of this time, someone finally shows up, I guess gets away from the freaking coffee break, and comes out and says, "Oh, we won't be x-raying until 12:30. I couldn't believe it. And you know what else I couldn't believe? Is how, like, a couple of people went past me sort of grumbling, but like nobody raised hell, said, "What the hell is this? Why didn't you tell us this before? Why didn't you put up us?" No, but everybody, and good Canadians, the Canadians, far too many Canadians just love to be kicked in the ass, okay? And this is what happened yesterday. No, said they just everybody wanders off. So I'm there all alone. Woman looks at me, doesn't say anything to me. I don't say anything to her. I expect her to tell me I expect her at least to say, "What are you here for, sir?" No, goes back into the office, closes the door, leaves me standing there. I have an appointment, and I'm already 3/4 of an hour late for the appointment that I had an appointment. Okay. So finally, I buck up my courage. I open the door. I know I'm not supposed to open the door, and I can see a couple of people said, "Hey, I'm here for an ultrasound." Woman looks at me. Oh, she says, "Well, wait outside." No sorry or apologize to anybody for nothing, okay? Like, we don't count. We're not human beings. We're just a bunch of, I don't know what the hell we are. Not even worth an apology or an explanation. So finally someone comes out, and to make a long story short, I go and get my test, okay? But I don't understand that kind of disregard for people. They're there for, if you're there, you have a medical problem. You may not be able to stand. There should have been chairs. There should have been some warning that they're not x-raying for another 2 hours. There should have been some concern, some compassion, some common freaking sense. Anyway, that's it. That's my gripe. The only other thing I'll have to say is that this idea that so many Canadians have that, oh, well, we'll just take whatever they deliver. I see the same thing now. We have the latest figures show that when it comes to being fully vaccinated, Canada is now 52 in the world. 51 other nations have more higher percentage of people fully vaccinated than Canada. But for most Canadians, that seems okay. We're 52nd, that's okay. What's happened to us? When did we arrive at a point where we are content with 52nd place? I have to get a word. Oh, Jace is on the line. Go ahead, Jace, please.
Good afternoon,
Jace, go ahead. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I want to talk about Danica Atwin.
I'm sorry?
I want to talk about Danica Atwin.
Yes. Yes, okay.
Oh.
Atwin, yes.
Okay. You called her as being anti-Semitic, as being openly anti-Semitic.
In my opinion, yes. Yep.
Okay, but here's the thing. Being anti-Semitic is against Jewish people, not against the Israeli state. And this is something that goes back to the previous conversation we had. Sorry,
no, I don't. You know what? I won't buy that. That this is the way that this is masked. Let's face it. Israel is a Jewish state, the only Jewish state in the world.
Lowell, here's the thing. All of a sudden, when you say that anybody that stands up against what Israel is doing, whether they're right or whether they're wrong, the moment you paint anybody who has a differing opinion as being anti-Semitic, they're kicked off into the corner. It's not fair.
Just a minute.
I have the right to say,
sorry,
no,
Jace.
You let me.
Jace, you have to take the full record. This woman has openly campaigned to boycott Israel products made by Jews. She has openly called Israel an apartheid state.
Yes.
Okay. So the history of this woman is one of as far as I am concerned, anti-Semitism.
No, it's anti-Israeli, which is completely different from anti-Semitism. The fact that Israel is a Jewish state and the only Jewish state out there is irrelevant. This is about Israel doing the wrong thing, not about Jewish people. I have no problem with Jewish people. I like Jewish people. I have Jewish
Just a minute,
people as
Jace,
friends.
just a minute.
I have
You're the
Jewish
one,
people
excuse
as
me,
neighbors.
Jace, just a minute, just a damn minute. You're the guy who screamed at me when I suggested that maybe all Canadians should not take responsibility for the residential schools. Now you're suggesting that the Israeli people have no say in the government. You can't have it both
What I'm
ways.
telling
You
you-
can't
hang
say
on,
that
hang
we
on.
Canadians. Sorry, you can't tell me that we Canadians are responsible for residential schools because we voted for the government. But in Israel, none of the Israeli. You're not talking about the Israeli people, even though they voted for the Israeli government.
No,
You can't have it both ways.
Lowell, I am not. What I am saying to you is that there are Israeli people who are Muslim, not Jewish. There are Canadian people who are not Catholics, who are not Anglican or anything else that was taking part in the residential school system.
What's that got to do?
I'm telling you that you need to separate church and state. Just because people are Jewish and Israeli does not make me saying something about Israel an anti-Semite. That's wrong.
If you have a long history of as does this woman, then I would say you're an anti-Semite. I've dealt with these people before. It's masked. They pretend, oh, well, it's not really, I'm not really against the Jewish people. The fact of the matter is, if you call your state, if you want to boycott products made by Jews in Israel, then you want to punish Jewish people.
No, you're punishing the Israeli state, not the Jewish people. There's a complete and total difference.
I see. Okay. But so is there a complete difference between the Canadian government and Canadian people then?
Sure, absolutely.
So we're not responsible for the residential schools. Gotcha, Gase. I got you, Jason. You're trying to have it both ways, sir. You got to do better next time. Thanks for your call. I got to talk for a moment. Got some very interesting news from Shields. One of the things that's I think has been disconcerting for some people is very often when you buy an appliance that needs to be installed, a dishwasher, for example, washer, dryer, even a refrigerator, it's got to be installed. And in most cases, you have to make 2 phone calls. You've got to order the appliance, and then you've got to order someone to install it. Well, Shields has just instituted a brand new program. You call them, you order your appliance from Shields, and you can order the installation at the same time, the same people. They will come that day, they will deliver your appliance, and they will install it. The prices are all listed there if you go to shields.ca. And, of course, right now, Shields is celebrating 75 years, their 75th anniversary. And as I've mentioned before, to celebrate the 75th anniversary at Shields, a huge sale, a major sale in Frigidaire. If you check out the website, you'll see, depending on the number of items that you buy or what you buy, you can save up to $1,200 from Frigidaire. Great sale on all of the items there, not just fridge, but particularly Frigidaire. But I just want to remind you, this is a new program from Shields. As far as I know, Shields alone. When you order an appliance at Shields, you can also order installation, all done at the same time. Seems to make a lot of sense to me. Shields.ca. John, you've got some texts coming in there.
Somebody on our Twitch feed actually just said she's been waiting 3 months for a dishwasher and a working fridge freezer from, I won't mention the place. Should have gone to Shields, just saying. This is interesting. We got a comment from Carrie. Carrie spent a good time in Israel, actually. And she says, whoever wants to boycott Israeli products needs to do their homework. People have no idea the amount of products that include parts and technology developed in Israel. People need to educate themselves, she says. Tim says, amazing that they developed the vaccine so quickly. Incredible what you can do with magnets. Peter says, this MP is a disgrace. Not hard to tell. She went to the Liberal Party. I'll stand with Israel any day, any night, period. Not a bunch of terrorists. Anyone against Israel is a damn terrorist or wannabe terrorist. Laurie says, Trudeau just said that we're contributing 100 million doses of vaccines to other nations. And Tim says, this is the biggest red herring in the world. I love how Jace and others mask their anti-Semitism with anti-Israeli positions.
I've run across this before. It's fairly, and you'll hear this a lot on university campuses. Oh, I'm not anti-Jewish. No, I'm just anti-Jewish state. That's all. I mean, there's no question that the Israeli government, you should be able to criticize the Israeli government. But if you ever notice, these people don't say, well, the Israeli government. They say Israel. Israel is not the government. Israel is the people. If you're going to criticize the Liberal government, you'll criticize the Liberal government. You don't criticize Canada because of what the Liberal government did. You'll criticize the government. But if you notice these people with Israel, it's always Israel. It's Israel. Israel should not have defended itself against Hamas. Israel is an apartheid state. If it's an apartheid state, that means it must have overwhelming support from the Israeli people, overwhelmingly, who are Jews. It's time we call a spade, okay? John, have you got some more text there?
We do. Bruce from Harrow, text us at 613-413-2217. I don't think we've given the phone number out yet today, 613-413-2217. Lowell, do you recall the details of the ad scam scandal? As I recall, the Liberals were caught red-handed with their hands in our cookie jar. In the end, the Liberals were found to owe us a large sum, which I don't believe they've ever repaid.
No, they didn't. Oh, I remember it well. In fact, I'm going to be honest with you. I was one of the people that first started to raise an alarm. I forget all of the details. My former producer, Ronnie Roberts, would remember it very well. Mm-hmm. But I spotted the fact that there was some missing money. It was $5 million for something, and I couldn't account for it. And I began to raise questions. I'm not suggesting I'm the sole one to raise this, but I was certainly part of the campaign that drew the public's attention to something that was going on in the province of Quebec. Centennial Glass. I've got to get a word in for my good folks at Centennial Glass. Keep talking about the fact that they have a warranty. Centennial Glass says that their warranty on their workmanship and product is the best in the business. And knowing Centennial Glass as I do, I believe them. When Centennial Glass tells you something, they're good people, they're honest people, good workmanship, they take great pride, but also they tell the truth. If they tell you, they give you a quote, they're going to stick with it. None of this hanky-panky about trying to fill in more stuff here and, oh, I didn't tell you about this, well, etc. Whatever if they give you a quote on a project, large or small, they will stick with it. I know this. As I've mentioned before, more than 25 years, I've been endorsing Centennial Glass, cannot recall a single complaint. And I'm going to tell you, people are not hesitate. They don't hesitate to complain to me about other things. I've had to drop a couple of sponsors over the years. Fortunately, only about a couple of them, because we had complaints that I didn't feel were being properly addressed. But not Centennial. God bless them. John, we got some more texts coming in?
No, sir. All is quiet. You are dismissed. You may go sit on a patio now.
The pressure is on. One final question, one issue here. The pressure is now on to kick police out of our schools, where, quite frankly, I think police have been doing a great job showing kids that cops are the good guys, okay, that they are your friend. But apparently some minority groups, and I gather these are minority groups, are complaining that their children are frightened by the presence of police, and so the police should be kicked out. No. If your kids are frightened by police, I suspect that somehow or other the parents have had a role in this. But what better way to show kids that police are your friend than the cops who come to the schools are specially trained. They deal with kids in a friendly fashion. And I'm going to tell you, they perform a very worthwhile and valuable service. There's very little bullying going on in the schools anymore. Certainly if there's a cop in the school, you're not going to see a whole lot of bullying. So I think that there's an advantage there. But mostly I think this shows young people, particularly those who are concerned or frightened by police, that they are your friend. There's no need to be frightened. You may come from a country where you are frightened by police. This is not that country. This is Canada. This is Canada here, all right? Police in our schools should be there. And I'll tell you something else that concerns me. It seems to me increasingly that our public policy is being dictated local, that we are paying far too much attention to, excuse me, the few complaints that come in from very small groups. These schools are for all people. Police should be there. They're performing a good service. But this argument that somehow or other, if kids are frightened by the police, that the police should be moved. No. If kids are frightened by the police, they should be taught and shown that there is nothing to fear with police. That's for me, one of the main reasons the cops should be there. Cops are your friend. And I'm going to tell you, if you have a problem in the school, if you're being bullied, if someone has stolen something, the cop is your friend. This idea of kicking cops out of the schools because of complaints from a few people, bad move. I hope some of you will take the time to have a look at this, whether you agree or disagree. Thank you all, and don't forget, folks, if you can, please sponsor local. Buy local from my sponsors. I'll get it right. Shields up there in Pakenham, great service, great people. Ditto Centennial Glass. Local people, keep your money here. Don't ship your money off to China. Why would you want to ship your money off to China, for God's sake? Thank you. We'll be back.
Lowell Green, live on blasttheradio.com. Show info and links at blasttheradio.com/Lowell Green. Can't join us live? Subscribe to the Lowell Green podcast, available on Apple, Google, Spotify, and more. Or ask your smart speaker to play the Lowell Green podcast. Join us live, weekdays at 2 p.m. Eastern on blasttheradio.com.